Good morning.
Good morning, Omar.
Hey, Paul. Another beautiful morning here.
Oh, it's really nice watching the sunrise here.
Yeah, I think people can see it over there. It's just beautiful. The sun coming up with the clouds and the water. I think that's an amazing setting.
I love the fall. It's just so nice and crisp.
Yes,
And running by the water is just such a treat.
absolutely. Absolutely. Especially today, it's not very windy. Sometimes if it's very windy, it gets a bit chilly.
So people are out paddleboarding. People are swimming this morning.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, we were really surprised that we saw a person actually swimming this early and at this time. Just to give you guys some context, it's about 6 degrees, feels like 4. So not very cold yet, but cold enough, I guess. So thank you, Paul, for doing this. I've heard a lot of great things about you, and I'm eager to know more. So would you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name is Paul Price. I guess what's different about me as a runner is I'm 69 years old. Had some challenges. Been retired for about 7 years.
Okay.
I worked in a paper mill as a guy that did industrial controls.
Oh,
So when I retired, I thought, oh geez, like, what am I going to do to focus myself? But these have really been the best 7 years of my life.
awesome.
I really enjoy being retired.
That's good to hear.
So I don't know, I'm just an average guy, average runner. What I really like is a group around me.
Yes.
So
Yes.
being retired, we run pretty much every morning, 7:30, and then we go for a coffee, and people go to work.
Every morning.
Except for Monday, because we do a long run on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
So it's been a really good formula for us.
Awesome.
I used to lead clinics for the running room, and when they stopped doing clinics, it was COVID,
Yes. Yes.
and COVID kind of changed everything.
Yes, it did.
So I think what happened is people formed different groups,
Yep.
and that's what happened to us. So we were able to go through COVID still running, even though we had the police looking at us every once in a while.
Yeah. Counting the number.
Yeah, exactly. That was such a weird time.
It was. It was such a weird time, but your experience, I think, has been shared by many. Like me, I've always ran alone, but COVID introduced me to a running group because I think people were eager for getting some company while running, meeting others. So, Paul, you talked about, what you like about running now and how it keeps you fit. But I want to go back a bit, like what I call the running life story.
Okay.
When did it all start?
So I'm a cyclist at heart,
Okay,
and I used to really enjoy 200K cycles.
let's go this way.
And, that was my life, really.
Okay,
I lived on a bicycle, and then I got bit by a tick, and my whole life changed. And I never understood, because when I got bit, nobody understood anything about ticks. So that was back in 2011, and I thought running was really difficult and really horrible. But in 2010, I had a friend of mine, just before I got bit. Had a friend of mine wanted me to try running.
okay,
So at that time it was called the Scotia. Now it's TCS.
yes,
But she convinced me to try a 5K social run.
okay,
And I found it so hard.
yeah, yeah,
So I did it, and I thought, okay, this is pretty amazing. But I was amazed because like with cycling, I was pretty fit,
Yep.
but I had a hard time.
I know.
You know, the breathing is different. The type of activity is different. And although I found it amazing and a lot of fun, I had a lot of trouble.
Morning.
So, but that prepared me, because in 2011 when I got bit by a tick, I didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
And I just kept getting sicker and sicker. And I couldn't cycle anymore because it was like I was drunk and my head would spin.
Oh.
So when I was on a bike, it felt like I was falling over all the time.
Was it diagnosed?
No,
No.
because nobody knew anything about Lyme at that time except for in the
Oh, really?
southern states.
Wow.
And they didn't think Lyme existed in Canada.
Yeah.
So
Starting to spread now, unfortunately.
between 2011 and 2015, I just kept getting sicker and sicker. I had to stop cycling, but that's when my 2010 experience running kicked in. And I started running.
Okay.
And I started running with my friend at the running room. And, I took clinics, and then I started leading clinics.
Okay.
And in 2015, I went to the US and got diagnosed by a Lyme doctor. Started taking antibiotics
Yeah.
and started being able to run again.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, as much as it's like, yeah, well, that's bad that you got that. But the fact that you didn't just give up and decided to kind of work with what you had
Yeah,
and kind of
Yeah.
switched from one sport to the other and kept active, that's amazing.
and I still have Lyme now. Right now, I'm doing another protocol, handfuls of antibiotics. Good
Morning. Does it get better? You learn how to live with it?
Yeah, because you can't get rid of it.
Okay.
And for me, everybody's different in their symptoms, but for me, it's mostly in my head.
Okay.
So I get really dizzy. I lose my short-term memory.
Oh,
But running is the thing that's kept me going.
oh
So
wow.
without that, I would be a vegetable.
Yeah. No, that's very interesting. I mean, I can relate when you say you're a cyclist and then you tried running and it was difficult because morning. Last year I was at the top of my like probably performance. I was ready for the TCS marathon, and my wife does a lot of gym classes,
Okay.
like one of those cycling classes, and she asked me to join her one day, and I felt like, yeah, for sure, I'm gonna crush this. Cycling, I'm a marathon guy. It involves legs. I'm gonna crush it. I went there and I died because my heart rate was up.
Good morning.
Morning. And I didn't understand
Yes.
how.
Yes.
I run like 35 kilometers every weekend and I'm fine. And I'm on a bike for less than half an hour and I'm dying. But apparently it's, I guess, a different group of muscles or something.
Yes. Yeah. And it's really important, especially as we're aging. I keep going back to that, but like, good morning.
Morning.
It's fitness that keeps us healthy
Yes.
as we get older. And when I was younger, I really enjoyed the competition.
Yep.
But I think Femi said something really interesting last time, which is you're competing with yourself. And if you forget that, you're not going to make it.
Yes.
There's always going to be people faster than you.
Yes.
There's always going to be people slower than you. But really, it comes down to you. And if you can't get used to people beating you in time or distance or whatever, you're going to burn out.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
thought that was great advice.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's one of the things I love about running is that, I mean, I play tennis, and tennis is a game where you're against someone, right?
Yes.
You can be very friendly and nice sportsmanship about it, but in the end, somebody wins and the other loses.
Yes.
In running, and I guess cycling as well, it's more you against the road.
Yes.
So
Yes.
like you finish the race and you like try to maybe improve your numbers, but it's not like one winner and
Yes.
700 losers. I don't feel the spirit is there.
Yes. And that's what's so nice about running.
Yep.
Is it can be a group thing.
Yep.
And you finish as a group. And to me, that's so enjoyable. And it's so motivating. So over those years, I've had a lot of people tell me a lot of really interesting things.
Yep, definitely.
I think one of the more interesting guys was an engineer named Bing Wong.
Okay.
And he used to do clinics for the running room. And he looked at things more from a technical perspective. And I think one of the things that he told me that stuck is don't overwater. So he was happier and felt our bodies did better going dehydrated than going overhydrated.
I see.
I think that's great advice.
Yep.
I remember one lady cycling, she ended up in the hospital because she was down and determined she was going to drink water. And good morning. And she had no electrolytes. She was drinking water and overwatering.
Oh.
And she put on so much water that she actually did damage to her health.
Oh wow.
So I thought that was really great advice.
You never think that, you know, there's such a thing as
Yes.
too much water.
Yes. And for me, it really works. So on training runs, I never drink or never eat. During a race, I'll stop at the water stations and have snacks. But, you know, I think what happens is we train our bodies to burn fat into glycogen.
Yes.
And one of the things Bing told us was that fat turns into carbon dioxide in water. So even if you drink nothing, you'll still have to pee at the end because
Yes.
you're burning fat.
Yeah.
And I think that was great advice that I've taken.
Yep. No, that's great advice. I mean, I am a bit like you. I cannot drink or eat before running. I'd rather like wake up in the morning and go for a run on an empty stomach. Anything I eat, even if it's like a small toast with jam or something. Some people do that. I cannot handle it. I feel bloated.
Yes.
I just doesn't work for me.
And the other thing that I thought was interesting is that you experiment. So you might try gels, you might try nuts, you might try, you know, things that maybe are off the beaten track. Like I know people like cranberries, they're like raisins
Yep.
or dried fruits, and that works for them.
Yes.
So sometimes bizarre things work for people.
Yeah, exactly. I know a lot of runners use gels. I do as well, but there's a limit.
Yes.
Like especially on very long runs, I think 5 or 6 gels starts really turning.
Yes.
And,
it sits on the bottom of your stomach
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. It becomes really hard to get anymore. So I've heard people say more natural, maybe dried fruit.
Yes.
Sometimes work better. Yeah, as you said, experiment, see what works for you. Doesn't mean that, you know, there's something wrong with you. Just
Yes.
yeah. Okay, Paul. So you've also mentioned something to me that is very interesting, and I think is on the mind of many people: the relationship between weight and exercise.
Yes. Yes. So in my 30s, I was on the road. So I was working for a medical supply company.
Okay.
I would hop on a plane on Sunday night and fly back on Friday evening. And right now I'm 140 pounds, which is good weight for me.
Yep.
I was up over 200.
Oh wow.
And so that's like 60 pounds. And I felt horrible. My life was different. You know, when you put on 60 pounds, like carrying 60 pounds it's heavy if you're
Yeah.
lifting the dumbbells.
Yeah.
And to have that kind of weight on you it's just not good.
Yes.
It's not good for anything. Your
Morning.
heart, anything.
No.
So, what I did was I changed jobs,
Okay.
which was important.
Yes.
And then I started in the gym, and then I started cycling. And between cycling and then running, I've managed to come from 200 down to a good weight, and I'm stable
Oh,
for
okay.
years and years and years.
Okay.
But if it wasn't for aerobic activity, I wouldn't be able to maintain weight control, because I'm kind of addicted to sugar and all those kind of crappy diet that we have.
Yeah.
And it's really important to regulate.
No, I think what you said is interesting. I mean, our jobs affect, like, if you're on the road and you're traveling, unfortunately, it's very hard to maintain a healthy diet or good habits of exercising. So, yeah. So, do you prefer road running or trail running?
I love both.
Both. Okay.
I don't have a preference. I've taken lately to trail running, because you can run long distances and the time just flies by.
Yes.
You're staring at your feet a lot.
Yep.
But you know, it's a slower form of running, because you have to pay a lot of attention. And because you pay attention, the miles just fly by. But
Okay.
I really like road running too, because it's got a different, like, you run faster, you run harder, and you don't have to concentrate on your feet.
Yep.
You know, smooth surface, even with gravel. So yeah, I love both.
Okay.
And I love hill training, because, you know, in a very short time you get quite fit. Hills really.
Oh no.
Hills
I hate
really
hills.
help you. Do you?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's very hard.
I mean, everybody hates hills, but I love the after effect.
Yeah,
Which is,
no.
you know, you end up getting stronger.
Yes.
You're able to do, you know, races. There's a lot of benefits to hills.
Yep. Yep.
Hill training, but you're right. Everybody hates them.
Yeah. So now that we've talked about trails and hills, and if you're going to run and you're the one who's planning to run, do you usually do like an out and back, or do you like to do a loop?
So, for our Sunday runs, we run as a group.
Okay.
So we've come up with a formula that kind of works. So we use an app called Run Go. You can use, there's a lot of them.
Yep.
We put the runs in, and then people will wear like one headphone, and
Morning.
it will call out the turns. So
Oh.
that's really worked for us. So
Okay.
like, I think everybody likes to have somebody to talk to during a long run.
Yes.
So, but you know, everybody has a different pace.
Yep.
So you kind of split up, and then at the end, everybody meets for a coffee or a beverage or something to eat.
Yep. Yep.
And that kind of social connection, I think, really works well for people. And I think that's key. You know, you mentioned in the beginning about solo running, and solo running certainly has its place.
It's necessary sometimes.
Yes, but group running, I think, is what really people crave, is that social connection with people, and you know, doing an exercise together where at the end you're tired, you feel good, and you're connecting, you're bonding with people.
Yes.
And I think it's a really good combination.
Yeah, and you're bonding with not any kind of people. You're bonding with healthy people.
Yes,
Because
everybody's different though, which is what really makes it interesting.
Yep.
Everyone has different politics, everyone has different religions, and I love this city. You meet people from all over the world.
yes.
It is so cool.
Yep. Yep. No, I agree. And there's a saying that, you know, you are what your friends are.
Yes.
And
That's true.
if all your friends love sitting on a couch and drinking and eating, well, that's how you're gonna spend most of your time.
Yes.
But if your friends are all running and cycling, and
Yes.
they carry you along.
Yes. And I find you don't, amongst active people, you don't meet people that are nasty.
No.
You know, people are really nice because you're sharing an activity together, you're sharing social, you're sharing your life, and it's very enjoyable.
Encouraging each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
and that motivation, you're right, you hit on something. Because that kind of motivation, it brings you out in the morning or in the evening and keeps you running because you don't want to disappoint the person that you're with or the people that you're with.
Exactly. Like some days when, we always say that getting out of the door is the hardest thing, right?
Yes,
especially in winter when you're all cozy at home. But believe me, like many days, if I'm not meeting a running buddy like you, I wouldn't go out.
Yes.
You get
you know
find excuses for yourself.
Yes.
You say, oh, I'll wait till the sun comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll wait till I'll have breakfast.
Yeah.
I'll do some chores first. I'll warm up. But when you're meeting with someone, like
Morning. And there's nothing motivating like getting a text message saying, "Where were you?"
yeah. Okay, so that brings me to another question that you kind of touched upon. Running time and running season. If you have no other commitments, what would be your preferred time of day?
So I like morning running, even though I'm not a morning person.
Me too.
You know, you drag yourself out of bed.
Yep.
And it might be cool in the winter, but you just have the most energy in the morning, and I find that it's my best time. But I also enjoy running in the evening too.
Me too.
After work is great.
Yeah.
And even in the dark at night, sometimes works really well.
Yep. As long as you maybe take some lights or
Yes.
carry
Yes.
some reflectors for safety.
Oh
Because
yes, oh my God, yes.
I found myself several times in situations where I was running on a road and I couldn't really see in front of me, and sometimes there are cars. What about the season?
Season,
Like we're
I
blessed here
love
with 4
winter.
different seasons.
Oh yes, oh we are, and it's. I've never lived in a warm climate, but I really enjoy the 4 seasons, and for me, winter is the best time to run
Is it? Okay.
because you can always add clothing.
Yes.
But when it's really hot,
There's the limit to how much you can take off. Legally, at least.
yeah. How about you?
I like all seasons. Like when it's really hot, it becomes really difficult, as you said.
But you like also really hot though is good in a way because it trains your body to do something different.
Yes.
And you run slower. You might run not as long. You start earlier, but it's still quite enjoyable.
Is there a certain subject or topic that you want to talk about? And
Good morning.
good morning.
Yeah. Actually, there is. I found heart rate
Okay.
to be very useful to me, especially as an aging man.
Okay.
And when I first started running, I had been cycling, so I still had cardio fitness. So what I found though is running is a different kind of cardio. So my resting heart rate to me is a really good indication of my cardio health. And I started in the high 40s.
Okay.
Because I already had cardio fitness through cycling.
Yep.
And
That's already excellent.
well, and it's not the number that's important.
Okay.
It's what happens to it.
Oh.
So as I got fitter running, and as my line cleared up, I ended up going down to the high 30s.
Wow.
And even now, you maintain that heart health.
Okay.
So even now, my resting rate is 40. So I've managed, even though, when you age, your max heart rate comes way down. So I used to be able to run a 200 heart rate and keep it up for a while.
Yeah.
Now, my max heart rate has dropped a lot.
Yep.
And that's just part of aging.
Yeah.
So now, if I can keep 170, I'm doing really well. But it's a big change. But still, my resting heart rate has stayed the same.
Oh, interesting.
So I think it's important to monitor our heart rates.
How do you do that?
So I have a watch,
Okay.
like most of us do.
Yep.
Or you can just, use your pulse in the morning before, just after you've woken up, before you have coffee.
Yep.
Where you're resting.
Okay.
And it drops.
Okay.
And it's quite neat. And like I never run to heart rate, but I'm always conscious of it
Oh, okay. I
because
see.
it tells me something.
So you don't try to stick to like zones. Well, you just like make sure that you're in the right band.
Well, that's the nice thing about having a watch with a heart monitor on it is you can go back and you can look at your run.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can say, oh, this is why I felt so crappy today.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
this is why I had such an amazing run today.
Yes.
But during the run, I don't pay any attention at all.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But it is good for long term though. Because like I've been talking about aging, like as we get in our 60s, things change.
Yep.
And like when we were a child, every year is different. As we're an aging adult, every year is like a parabola. When you're in your 30s, 40s,
Yes.
50s, everything kind of is nice and calm. But as you get into your 60s, things change.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
And I can still do everything I did, but I need more rest. I need more breaks. And my max heart rates come down. So I just cannot do the speed that I used to do. And it's kind of upsetting in some ways, but I'm healthy and I'm able to do everything. So
Awesome.
I'm happy.
Okay, can I ask you something about that? Because, like, you hear that, after 60, you lose muscle mass,
Yes.
right?
Oh, yes, you do.
How do you work on that? Like, is there something you do to kind of try and maintain,
Oh,
other
yes.
than exercising regularly, of course?
So I run with a lady that's a gym bot.
Okay.
And she's really good at that.
Okay.
And, she's told me how important it is to do weights in the gym.
Yep.
And I've also started doing Femi Spartan workouts
Yep.
where he uses heavier weights. And I think that's a key.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. You lose muscle mass.
Okay, so you're saying that, doing some weight workouts, going to the gym helps.
Yes, it sure does. And I think that as we age, it's the testosterone levels that men lose
Yep.
that cause a loss in muscle age.
What about
Muscle mass.
nutrition? Do you pay attention to how much protein you're getting?
So because Lyme keeps coming back,
Okay.
nutrition is really important to me.
Okay.
And one of the things that I found over the years is that sugar is deadly.
Yes.
Sugar is, and I'm addicted to it.
Yeah, we all are.
It's in everything, and I really have to watch my sugar levels. But other than that, I don't do anything special. Protein's important,
Yep.
but I do try to avoid sugar as much as I can.
Right. All right, Paul. Well, this was amazing. I really, really enjoyed chatting with you. I mean, like, seriously, time flew. It's hard to believe that it feels like 5 minutes, but it's been longer than that.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your time and for your sharing your amazing conversations and experiences. I mean, that was eye-opening. I mean, you talked about many things. When you said Lyme disease, I mean, honestly, I thought that it's something that would stop a person from exercising, but you proved that, if you have the will to keep going like you have, you shouldn't just get over anything.
Yes.
So,
And thank you very much, Omar. I've really thoroughly enjoyed the conversations together.
thanks a lot. So, as I usually say, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I want to put other people on the spot.
Okay.
So, can you recommend a name or two for the next interviews?
So I would recommend my running partner, the, her name is Debbie Jackson.
Okay.
Being a woman, she has a different perspective.
Yep.
And she's a bit slower than I am, and she'll have a different perspective on that as well.
That's fine with me. I'm probably slower than her.
We've had a great run together. And I also recommend her daughter, Sarah Jackson, who's kind of a new runner in a way. She's done treadmill, but then she started doing the 5 Peaks with us this year. And she's been amazing. And
Wow.
she never considered herself a runner, but she's done amazing. So those 2 people I would recommend.
Perfect. I'm looking forward. I'll get in touch with them, and maybe we'll do 2 interviews in one, like a mother and daughter interview or something.
Oh, that would be great.
Let's see.
Yes.
Let's see
Okay.
what works for them. So thanks again. So, I want to run with you again, regardless of whether we do our other chat.